Thank you for joining today's webinar of Manufacturing and International Trade Committee at HIA-LI. This is our first live webinar, and we are very excited about it. This webinar series will be monthly. So, in addition to our in-person, on-site meetings, our committee meetings, we'll be organizing these webinars to share educational information with manufacturers of Long Island and New York, of course. So our idea is to help educate manufacturers and share educational and helpful information. And again, thank you very much for joining today's webinar. As you know, our manufacturing committee, our international trade committee, we are the co-chairs. I'm Kevin Devecioglu. I'm running the committee with our co-chair, Ron Loveland from Summit Business Solutions. I am with Bimser International. We are a software development company working with manufacturers for quality management and maintenance management software products. And we are very excited to have you in our webinar today. As you know, our mission in our at our committee is to help manufacturers of Long Island and help them thrive basically in competitive New York marketplace. So today we put together a great webinar for you, and today we are with Cynthia Colon. She's a program manager of Manufacturing and Technology Research Consortium, MTRC in short. So she's with us today. We'll be talking about grants and incentives available for manufacturers, which is very important for manufacturers to learn about. That's a great resource, and we'll learn about it. Today, we'll learn also about MTRC in general. So as you know, MTRC is Empire State Development's regional partnership center in Long Island region. They are very active, very active in manufacturing community in Long Island. And we have many things to learn about grants and incentives for manufacturers in this context. So I'd like to introduce Cynthia, and as I mentioned, we have many things to learn about grants, and I'm sure Cynthia will be talking about MTRC in general, its activities, and what kind of grants and incentives are available for manufacturers. Cynthia, if you are there, please feel free to take it from here. And also, before we get started, just so you know, if you have any questions, please type in the chat box. We have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar, so we'll be addressing your questions. And let's keep our microphones muted. It'll help us have a good quality presentation during the webinar. And just so you know, we also record these webinar for later view, and we'll also share it with you. So before further ado, I think I'll let Cynthia take it from here, and I'll get back to you during the Q&A session. Thank you very much, Cynthia.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank you, Ron, and HIA Long Island for having MTRC featured in your first live webinar. We are honored. Thank you very much. And we're looking forward to sharing everything that we offer to the manufacturers. Great, excellent. So for our first slide, this is a little high-level information about MTRC. MTRC is a sponsored program, as you had said, under NIST MEP. NIST MEP, which is a federal program. Now, every state has an MEP program, with most having more than one center in the state to support manufacturers. So for New York, our structure is, we have a structured NY MEP program, which is governed by Empire State Development, or for short, ESD. Now, the statewide MEP is Fuse Hub. Now, if a manufacturer reaches out to Fuse Hub in any aspect, Fuse Hub will connect the manufacturer to their regional MEP center. Each center has a slightly different business structure and a different cluster focus. MTRC is one of those 10 regional centers, and our mandate, as you had said, is for Nassau and Suffolk County only. If a company is just outside of Nassau, west of Nassau, or in the 5 boroughs, we then look to connect them with the MEP center for the 5 boroughs, which is ITAC. Now, we'll take a look at our mission. So our mission is to assist small to medium-sized manufacturers on Long Island to develop their business growth and increase competitiveness. So the number for small to medium-sized manufacturers are any employees that are under 500 employees. So if a manufacturer has less than 500 employees and is within the Nassau and Suffolk counties, so that is who we help. And next, we'll take a look at how we help. So MTRC is uniquely structured. We're structured to be lean. So only myself and Dr. Cow are employed by MTRC. And our center was designed to leverage program partners to support manufacturing projects over a wide range of manufacturing sectors. So for this slide here, these are our MTRC program partners. If a manufacturer is making a cash investment in a project, such as R&D, prototyping, or such, we look to see if matching the manufacturer with one of our program partners is a good fit for the project. Oftentimes, if so, the program partner, which are listed here, these program partners can offer either grant funding or reduced cost or assistance within cost reduction that can be applied to the project. That can also be layered with the MTRC grant funding to reduce the cost of the project for the manufacturer. So now MTRC also works very closely with other manufacturing organizations and groups, such as HIA, in partnership for events and such. But the ones that are listed here are the ones that can offer additional grant funding or assistance, as I said, in reduced cost services in conjunction with the MTRC program. So now, in this slide here, you'll see that some of the partners are on campus, such as we have the Center for Biotechnology, SensorCat, EnergyCat. I'm going to work my way left. We have the Advanced Energy Center. We have CWIT, SBDC for the Small Business Development Center, SPIR, which is a SUNY state program, incubator programs, and the Center for Corporate Education for Workforce Development. So those are on-campus partners. We also have off-campus partners, such as you take a look, Cold Spring Harbor, Brookhaven National Lab, WDI, National Grid, PSEG. We have the Composite Prototype Center. TAAC is a brand new partner who offers assistance to manufacturers who have seen a reduction in their profit and have lost employees due to any accounts that have been lost to overseas competitors. So that's one of the newest ones that we like to highlight. And then we have the Long Island Food Council, Composite Prototype Center, and additional private and public entities. We will take a look, we meet with the company, before we switch the slide, I'm going to say we meet with the company and we take a look if this is a good fit, and then we will take it from there. We take a look at the types of projects that the company is involved in. And we take a look at what our grant that we manage here is able to match for that project. So MTRC has multiple grant funding categories, which we can look to see if the project fits under. So these are supplemental awards, okay, with the exception of feasibility study support. So that should have an asterisk next to it. So we'll get to the feasibility. We'll get to the feasibility support. But let's take a look at all the others. So, for instance, we offer consulting in food manufacturing and biotech manufacturing. So, if there are any specialized needs beyond what any internal partner has already offered the company, we would look to connect the manufacturer with specialized consultants in food manufacturing through the Long Island Food Council. So, for instance, we had a food manufacturer looking to develop a recipe for a new product that was focusing on organic ingredients. So we were able to connect the manufacturer with a specialized nutritionist who worked with them to identify, locate, and test those ingredients. And we were able to roll out a successful consulting project that was fully supported by MTRC. So for food manufacturers, they're entitled to 3 consulting projects with a cap at $5,000 each. And we look to see what exactly the needs are and work very closely with the Food Council and the consultants to see what's the best fit. For all of these projects, before I continue with the other funding categories, the post-award requirement post-project is an impact survey that NIST sends the manufacturer directly via email after the project is reported. So after the project is complete, the company has to agree to this survey, and that includes for any consulting projects. So I'll continue with the biotech consulting. MTRC has an in-house biotech consultant that focuses on the needs of the company as it pertains to the manufacturing stage of the development of their product. And this service is also at no cost to the manufacturer. This is a budget line that is within MTRC because MTRC's cluster focus is biotechnology. So for biotech support, we not only have an in-house biotech consultant that can assist the companies, but MTRC can also match any phase 1 or phase 2 SBIR grants that the biotech companies receive. An SBIR is a Small Business Innovation Research Award through NIH. And this is crucial to companies because when they write their SBIR proposal and they get their funding, they are tied to the budget that they submitted for that proposal for that funding. MTRC can come in and match their phase 1 and phase 2 with a cap at $10,000. So the manufacturer can take that MTRC award and apply it to this project as they see fit without having to be confined to any one particular budget line. And that's crucial to companies because they can use that money to hire additional personnel or interns to support that project. I'm going to go down to cybersecurity, gap assessment, and implementation. This is a phenomenal one for all manufacturers. If you turn on your computer and you are a manufacturer, you can be hacked. So MTRC has 2 grant tracks through the MEP system for manufacturers. One is for DoD contract manufacturers. The grant is managed by our sister MEP center. They're called AIM, and they're in the Mohawk Valley. And the manufacturer can have up to 90% of the gap assessment covered through this program. Now, any implementation that comes out of this gap assessment, MTRC is able to reimburse the company in the form of an award of 30% of what they show cash investment toward any implementation toward that gap assessment for cybersecurity. So that's the first track for DoD manufacturers. And then secondly is a non-DoD manufacturer, which is everybody else. MTRC has, for non-DoD, we have 2 tracks for non-DoD as well. We have a $3,000 gap assessment grant that manufacturers can apply to. I believe MTRC has 6 more spots open for that $3,000 gap assessment grant. And then additionally, any implementation that's done beyond the gap, but that's found through the gap assessment, the company would be entitled to 30% back of what they show cash investment for that. All right. Continuing at the funding categories, we've got, I'm going to hold off on feasibility till the end. We've got manufacturing expansion, equipment purchase. If a manufacturer is purchasing any large-scale equipment, back-end equipment to support any expansion for their manufacturing that has job creation tied to it, they will be entitled to 20% reimbursement of what they show of the project itself, the cash investment in the project. All right, going down the column, we talked about a federal award match. So that could be SBIR, like I had discussed, or it could be NYSERDA or DOH or what have you. So that's taken on a case-by-case basis. Research and development projects. So this is going to be projects that companies invest in with regard to any of the internal CATs, possibly, the Energy Center, Center for Biotechnology. If a company comes in to work with one of the centers to do any research and development, they're making a cash investment into the project. these centers can match their cash investment. MTRC can come in and add an additional layer of funding matching that cash investment for those projects. SPIR, Strategic Partnership for Industrial Resurgence match. So if a company is looking to hire any interns, graduate students with regard to engineering, they are entitled to 25% of what that budget is. So a company can connect with the SPIR program, and you will let them know what type of engineer you're looking for. They will work with you with respect to how many engineers, the type of engineer, and for the duration. How long will you need them for the project? And they will work with you to tell you what the cost would be, including fringe benefits. And all of that is managed by the SPIR program and the Research Foundation. The company is responsible for, if it's the first SPIR project that the company is hiring students through, SPIR puts in 40% of the budget for those interns into the pot to pay for those students. Then the company is only responsible for 60%. Now, once the account is set up in the Research Foundation to pay for those students, MTRC can come in and give the company back 25% of the 100% of that budget. So including the 40% that SPIR puts in, MTRC can give the company back 25% of the overall project. So at the end of the day, if a company looks to hire engineers through SPIR, pays their 60%, they'll get back 25%, and at the end of the day, they've only put out 35% for graduate student engineers. Now, moving down, workforce development and training, manufacturers are entitled to 30% back of any cash investment that they show for the efforts of workforce development. We work also closely with WDI, who also offers funding for this effort. And MTRC can come in and add an additional layer of funding to the project. So that's a great bonus for manufacturers. Now, I'm back to feasibility study. Feasibility study is one of the newer grant objectives that was developed because we saw a need for manufacturers, especially small manufacturers, small mom and pop shops that are looking to develop new products that really just need that one step up to help them get started. And so this grant will offer $3,000 to $5,000 based on the extensity of the project and what the company plans on spending for this effort. We do have a feasibility template. So if a company comes to us seeking a feasibility award, we offer them the template. They can very high level explain to us what they're looking to do. We're not looking for the secret recipe. We just are looking to see what you're doing, how you plan on doing it, and how long the project you plan to be. So as an example, we encountered a company that was looking to develop individual serving size salad dressing, and they needed to purchase multiple types of foil. So that was their feasibility study. They needed to do research on what was going to be best, and they had a full plan as to how they were going to do it, how many stores they planned to have their materials in, and turned around in 6 months to give us a full report as to which foil they ended up using. So in that case, that $4,000 they received was a big help for them. And again, this is meant to get the manufacturer over an immediate obstacle to get them on the path that they need to be on, which is why, and we do not match a cash investment for these feasibility projects, which is why the award is significantly lower than the others. Okay, and so that is category fundings. We'll switch to the next one. So we talked about how we help companies. We talked about in what manner we help companies. We help companies. How does a company qualify? We talk about manufacturers. There are many different types of manufacturers out there. And the way that we've been designed through NIST to qualify manufacturers is through the NIST D&B system. So NIST has a portal and a contract with Dun & Bradstreet. The company has to have a Dun & Bradstreet profile, and they have to have a manufacturing NAICS code. All right. So you see here, the company has to have less than 500 employees, be small to medium size. you have to have your Dun & Bradstreet profile, you have to have that manufacturing NICS code, and you can see the interval from 31000 through 39999 is pretty large, significantly large. If you go to the MTRC website, which is stonybrook.edu/MTRC, and if you go to funding opportunities, there is a document that you can download that has all of the manufacturing codes that are in that interval and all the others and details what they are. So a company should take a look at their Dun & Bradstreet profile and take a look at what code you have listed. A lot of times we see companies very surprised by what manufacturing code, if it is manufacturing, that is listed. So we've encountered manufacturers that had a totally different code listed in their profile, and they were shocked. So if anything comes out of this, be sure to check your D&B profile and be sure that your NICS code matches exactly what you manufacture. So again, to continue with the eligibility, the company should be investing your cash, if not a feasibility, in some sort of investment and a job creation that should be tied to this. And last, job creation tied to the project, because that's really what this is. This is an economic development program, and we want to see that we are not only retaining jobs, but really focusing on creating. And last but not least, number 5 is the company must agree to complete the post-award impact survey. When the company agrees to the MTRC award, we go into an agreement. And the agreement details the project that they will be working on. Regardless of the category, they agree to complete the project, whether it be feasibility on their own or with a program partner, or with, let's say, cybersecurity. And they also have to agree to complete the impact survey. Now, the survey is sent via email 3 to 6 months after each quarter that I report them. Now, if the company is in queue for survey, we notify the company via email to expect the survey, when to expect it, down to the time of the day. We check back in on the surveys in about a week after they're sent to see who has not completed. We send out reminders. And about a day or two before the closing of the survey period, we reach out and start making phone calls to the companies who have not completed the survey. If all of those efforts fail and the company still does not complete the survey once the survey period is over, you get 1 month to complete that email. If the company does not complete the survey within the time, it is now out of our hands, and the company is invoiced for the amount of the award in which that survey pertained to. So you really have to try hard to avoid us. Okay, so that's eligibility, and we can continue to the next slide. So we got a little bit of overlap here, probably because of the size of the screen. But this is just a little bit of a snapshot of what our funding has been so far. So now our quarter reporting is submitted at the end of this month. So that's why this presentation is through January 1st of 2019. So this includes up through our last quarter. If we were doing this presentation on May 1st, I would have had first quarter results in here. We don't like posting anything until we officially report it to NIST. So for purposes of that, we can take a look at how our funding so far has been categorized. So you see a significant amount is through research and development, through program partners and such. And then continuing from there, we've got biotechnology. So biotechnology includes consulting, includes the SBIR match. Those are large matches. So it accounts, in the end, it significantly, accounts for 16% of what our funding is. Sponsorships, we've got 11% of sponsorships. We've got workforce development is at 6%. Food consulting is at 4%. We've got manufacturing expansion. So that one has really picked up. That category has picked up this past, since 2018. We've had a good amount of companies that are spending significant amount of money in expanding. and expanding and also upgrading. So if you're upgrading your equipment and creating a hire, or if this upgrade is going to retain jobs, then the company would be a good fit for that category. And last but not least, in 17%, we've got our user facility, robotics camp, and other equipment that we have purchased here for manufacturers. So that's a good lead to our next. So before I get to our user facility, we'll take a quick look at how to work with us. Now, we try to make it an easy process. Manufacturers are busy. Sometimes they're too busy to do this whole process for a few $1,000s. So we really try to work with them to make it as easy as possible. So we start with an initial contact, whether it be directly to us or through referrals through other program partners. And we've had other manufacturers recommend manufacturers to contact us. So we meet with you, we assess to see what exactly they have going on. Do they have projects that are a good fit? Are they expanding? Are they looking to hire? Are they decreasing? You know, what's going on, and how can MTRC and our program partners be a fit and support what's going on? Identify any projects that would be a good fit for a supplemental award. Engage in an agreement if they do qualify for a supplemental award, and then the project is executed. You know, we stand on the sidelines. We check in to make sure that the company is doing well, they're happy with their program partner. If things aren't working well, maybe we readjust, realign, you know, whatever is needed within that time. And then once the project is completed, we wrap up and it goes into our quarterly reports, and then we wrap it up with a survey. So that's for how we work with companies, how we engage in projects, and how we offer grant support. Now, one of the newest additions to our MTRC program is our rapid prototyping user facility. It is located, the lab is located here in our building in Seawit on campus in R&D Park in Stony Brook. And the mission of it is to assist manufacturers in developing a rapid prototype. Right now, we have 2 3D printers. We've got special cutting and 2 special cutting machines and 2 scanners. And to qualify again to use the user facility, we want to make sure that the company is a valid manufacturer, because we will look again to form this into a project so that the project can be surveyed. And the overall purpose of the survey is, again, not only to capture economic impact, but we want to make sure that what we're doing is working. And if it's working, then they're going to continue filling the well. So these are significant projects in which we could continue to support manufacturers and getting them where they need to go. Okay, we're going to have a completed online registration process, and we'll start to, you know, roll that out. It's brand new, so we're still ironing out some kinks. And in the meantime, you can take a look and see what machinery we do have. We have a broad spectrum laser cutter here in Seawit, the water jet machining center. Because that machine is so large, it needed a wet lab. So that one is located on campus in the heavy engineering building. We have 2 3D printers. Our Objet 30 Prime is biocompatible, and we have 2 Form 2 lab printers. And then we have 2 high resolution scanners. We've got a Arctic scanner, which is the higher resolution scanner, which is can assist the company in reverse engineering and CAD drawing. And we'll go to the last slide. Oh, I'm sorry, just to wrap up one more. For the user facility, there is no fee up front for the user facility. There's no registration fee. The company will be responsible, though, for the material that they use and the time of the technician. So if a company needs a CAD drawing and we get a technician in, they'll be responsible for the time. If they're looking to develop the CAD file and would like an item scanned, again, there's no material being used, but you will be responsible for covering the cost of the technician. For the 3D printers, however, they are responsible for the material and the time. All right. We do not keep any special material with regard to laser cutting on in stock here. So if a company is looking to have something specially cut or laser engraved, then they will have to bring that material with them. Or if it's a special case and they would like the material to be ordered, then we can work with the company so that it's here when they get here to do that cutting and engraving. Now, last but not least, this is very special and dear to my heart. We have our Design Innovation Robotics Camp. So last year, 2018, was our first year for this robotics camp. And this came from a very informal meeting, just chatting with colleagues, and it just kind of developed, and we said, let's give it a try and let's put some ideas on paper and see what happens. And we ended up with a phenomenal 10-day program that worked so very well, and we got fantastic feedback. Last year was hosted centrally on Long Island. We went to Plainview and partnered with the center, the Composite Prototype Center, which is in Plainview. They have a fantastic shop floor, and they hosted our students. We hosted 24 students for 10 days from 10 to 3 p.m. And they designed and developed these robots. And on the 10th day, we have a wonderful luncheon and invite their families to come on in, and the kids get to present their robots and demonstrate the work that they've done. Through this 10-day program, they work with graduate and PhD engineering students, and it really is an all-around great program. The kids must be entering 6th through 12th grade, and they apply online. They need to submit a statement explaining what robotics means to them and what their experience with robotics has been so far. Their parents must sign a specialized release, and they must submit a letter of recommendation from a non-relative, can be a teacher, can be a leader of any one of their programs or such. And we take this on a first come basis, as long as the student submits and the parent submits everything that's required at that time. And so it went over so well last year that this year we were able to double our budget and host 2 sessions. We saw that there was a struggle for students to get to Plainview. So what we're doing is we're having one session in Suffolk County, which will be hosted here in Seawit, and we will have one session in Nassau County. And every year, that session we will look to, it's going to be our traveling show. So this year, it's going to be at Carl Place High School. And the dates and times are all on our website at stonybrook.edu/MTRC, and you can click on Robotics Camp to get more info. And that's that. That's MTRC.
Cynthia, thank you very much. It's been pretty informative, great insights, very important information for manufacturers. Indeed. Thank you. So while listening to you and learning from you what MTRC has to offer and how it can help manufacturers, I have been receiving some questions in the chat box directly and also to the public pages. We have as a chat box. I'm also going through the questions. So first question is, let me see. Okay. So what type of training is permitted, and what does companies need to do to secure the 30%? And what is the limit of funding for the workforce development?
Good question. So for the types of training, it could be ISO training, lean training, any type of workforce development training that the company would need possibly for what they're expanding, what they're looking to currently manufacture, good manufacturing practices, anything of those sorts. What the company would have to do to secure the 30% is they need to be sure that they have a fully signed proposal detailing what the training is, detailing the duration of the training. We'll take a copy of that proposal and any training material that they would like to attach to that. We need a copy of the sign-in sheet. So we treat this like, it's treated like an audit. We'll take a copy of the attendees and the sign-in sheet, and we need a copy of the payment. So we need to see payment in full that matches the proposal. So we'll take those three things, including a copy of the company's W-9, and that's what we use to generate an agreement. And then the company will be entitled to their 30%. From start to finish, our turnaround time has been around 6 to 8 weeks. However, we've had an insanely amazing increased amount of manufacturing companies reach out to us amongst all of the sectors of manufacturing in which we support. So our turnaround time has increased a little bit from 6 to 8 weeks. It's now about, I would say, maybe 6 to 10 weeks. But lo and behold, the company will get that check.
That's great. I was gonna ask the turnaround time. I think you already responded, and we are also getting some additional questions. So another question that I was gonna ask is about paperwork needed for the application. You actually addressed this question. Actually, how much paperwork it's needed, but you already answered. So I'll pass that. I'm gonna read some other questions that I have been receiving. For workforce development, is it best to connect with you at MTRC or Rosalia at Workforce Development Institute first?
So we've worked with companies that have done both. I know that WDI has their own constraints, and they need to speak to the company before any training is initiated. So be sure you speak to WDI and speak to who your training provider is, and make sure, and also WDI and National Grid is also able to add additional funding, layer of funding to training projects. So the manufacturer must be sure to reach out to not only to have their training provider connect them with WDI and with National Grid before initiating the project. MTRC then can come in and will take all the post paperwork as long as the company has their valid manufacturing NICS code for the 30%. Now, the cap for that 30% is $20,000.
Okay. All right.
Now, now, in that turn, the company would have to be engaging in a training project of $100,000 to get their $20,000, if that makes sense.
Okay, great. So another question that I am looking at right now, how about programs throughout New York State regarding registered apprenticeship programs? What funding is available for apprentice programs besides workforce development? Who else could provide funding? What support does MTRC provide for this?
So MTRC is going to start supporting apprenticeship programs also under workforce development at 30% with a cap at $20,000. So if a company works with WDI, CCE, and any other programs that are going to be doing these registered apprenticeship programs, you are able to get back 30% of what you show for that cash investment.
Another question that I have received, is there a template for training proposals? Any template available for training proposals in the process?
Well, MTRC does not have a template for training proposals. If a company comes to us and does need any type of training, then we'll look to connect them with the training program partner, and then we look to a program partner to develop that training proposal if the company comes to us first.
Great. I think we addressed many questions so far. I'm also checking the chat box if there's any questions. It looks like we addressed all the questions. Do you have any closing remarks? Anything that you'd like to share before we end our webinar, Cynthia?
Well, I'd just like to say, thank you so much for asking MTRC to be a part of your first live webinar and getting the word out. there is funding out there. There's funding that we know about. There's funding that comes up that's new, whether it's through the state or through the MEP program, possibly Fuse Hub. There's CFA funding that comes out. And if any company comes to us that is inquiring CFA funding, we're able to connect them with our program partner, the Center for Corporate Education. There's money out there, and we want to be sure that manufacturers know it's out there, and we look to work with all of the organizations and programs on Long Island to get help to the companies. That's MTRC's focus. As long as the company gets the help that they need, we're good. So let us know if you have any companies that are inquiring any need. We do, again, it's just myself and my executive director. So, if you email us and don't hear from us, please give us a call. We have monthly informational meetings here in Seawit. Every once in a while, we'll take them on the road. 2 months ago, we went to Farmingdale and went to the Small Business Development Center in Farmingdale to host a meeting there. This live webinar was excellent, so this is another great resource. But if the company would like to visit us, meet us, possibly meet program partners, and they can come and take a look at our website and see when we have our next, what we call our Coffee and Connect. Every month is a different highlight. This next coming month is going to be biotechnology manufacturing support. So we will have some representatives from the biotech sector present, and we have biotech companies who have received support present. So it's a great location, a great forum for all companies and manufacturers to come in, meet other manufacturers, meet program partners, and just network and get the word out, to know that there's help out there to stay sustainable and stay afloat, stay on Long Island. So thank you, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. What is the best contact information if they like to contact you for further discussions?
The best email to reach my executive director, Dr. Amin Kao, and myself is mtrc@stonybrook.edu. That gets to both of us.
Okay, great. Well, on behalf of HIA-LI and Manufacturing Committee, I would like to thank you for being with us in our at our first webinar session.
Thank you.
That is very important. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And looking forward to seeing you in our coming meetings and gatherings. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. And before we end our first webinar, I'd like to also remind you that please check events calendar of HIA-LI for coming activities, networking events. And as you know, in May, there's a trade show of HIA-LI, which is very important, very happening. So please make sure to join as an exhibitor, as an attendee. You are more than welcome. And also for manufacturers, you are also welcome to showcase your products, what you manufacture, made in Long Island. So if you're interested, please let me know, and we'll make sure that you have your products showcased during the trade show of HIA-LI. So that is, I think, a great opportunity for manufacturers of Long Island. That is very important. And as for Manufacturing Committee of HIA-LI, as you know, we meet once a month. So our next on-site meeting is scheduled for May 8th, and we'll be announcing our next meeting soon. So you'll be getting an email from us, and also you can check the event calendar on HIA-LI website. As for our next webinar, that is scheduled for May 29th. And we'll be talking about international trade. We'll be talking about how to do business with Italy and what kind of resources are available when you are doing international trade with Italy. So another informative subject is going to be covered, and you'll be learning more about it. And as closing, I would like to thank you for your attendance and looking forward to seeing you in our coming on-site meetings and webinars. Thank you and have a great day.